Well, hello again, KCIW listeners, and welcome to Curry Café. I'm producer and volunteer Rick McNamer. Every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m., your host and the famous radio personality Ray Gary puts together a panel of guests to discuss topics of interest in our community. Listeners can participate by texting questions or comments to 541-661-4098. Again, that number is 541-661-4098. Now here's Ray to tell us about today's show.
Hi. Well, today's show is not exactly what I had planned. I thought we were going to sit around and discuss the end of salmon season. But I was kind of outvoted because it seems like everybody else wants to talk about some other thing in the news. I don't know. So we will go around the table, and each of us will introduce ourselves and say why they don't want to talk about salmon.
Thank you, Ray. I'm Candace Michelle. I'm the host of Our Community and a volunteer here at KCIW. And I don't want to talk about the end of salmon season because I didn't know it even started. So it must be one day long or something.
Well, I only know because I was at the trivia thing the other night, and Lori was showing a picture of Joey's 26-pound salmon, and she said it was the last day.
Oh,
so that's what that's everything I know. I was hoping somebody else would enlighten me more.
Obviously, I missed it.
Was it a good salmon season? Anyway.
Hi. No, I'm not actually, but hi anyhow. Mike Gorse here. Sam Enchanted Evening sounds like the other night.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Wasn't there? Yeah. That was nice.
Sam
There's a lot of dad jokes here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
There we go.
All right.
So
So,
you're going to introduce yourself? Or
well, I'm Mike Gorse. I'm the. You never know what's going to come out of me. Right? That's the whole point.
And I've already introduced myself, so I'll pass it to...
Today the subject is the current state of the world. And
It almost feels like another Our Community, doesn't it?
doesn't kind of, very similar,
Right,
yeah.
similar vibe.
Just,
Yeah.
But we're live. We can't.
We are live, so I
have to
can't
watch
say
our
any
language
of
on
those
this show.
bad words.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what to talk about first here. The thing I kind of got hit with yesterday or the day before was just, although in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of a small thing, but how can this guy go on television or he evidently was doing supposed to do a talk about AI and must have run out of material because it went from AI to talking about his well-worn out uncle, who was a professor at MIT for 50 years or more. He was the longest-serving professor ever at MIT. And he said they were talking one day, and he said that the Unabomber was one of his students. And Trump then asked him, well, what kind of a student he was? And they chatted a little bit about that. So I said, well, okay, that's a real nothing burger, but so what? Well, the so what was, it turns out that Trump's uncle died 10 years before the Unabomber went to college, and he didn't go to MIT, he went to Harvard.
So
okay, so it's just
more of the nonsense.
But why? It's a nonsense lie. Mm-hmm. And what's in this guy's brain that he thinks I could just go on there and say anything I want, and nobody will ever fact check me, and I'll never hear about it again.
But isn't that the truth? Nobody ever certainly no reporters fact.
Well, it was fact checked when I saw it.
Yeah, but
it's fact. But I shouldn't have said fact check. It becomes of no note whatsoever.
Right.
Nothing.
Well, and it certainly doesn't matter to the MAGA base. It does not
and why,
matter.
if you're going to tell a lie, why do you tell a lie that has absolutely there's no reason to tell it? It didn't in any way, make him look.
That would assume that he knows the difference between a lie and the truth. I don't know that he does.
You're probably right there. Yeah, he cannot tell the truth.
I mean, he just says whatever comes into his head. There's no filter between his brain and his mouth.
Yet there are millions of people who voted for him and will vote for him again, I guess.
I know. In spite of the fact that he is a 34-time felon.
Twice impeached.
And twice impeached.
Yes,
I know.
3 times married.
Yeah, like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With over 2 dozen women who, have accused him of sexual assault.
And he's had to pay millions of dollars.
And that too.
Yeah.
And that too. And again, we could go on and on.
And
but
not
so
he's
far
just
it
a
doesn't
jerk.
matter.
Yeah,
He is
kind
a
of
jerk. Who?
I know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that the big news is the Epstein stuff.
Definite elephant in the room there.
I mean, I think
Epstein Colbert, as far as I'm concerned.
yes,
Okay.
Colbert is also a big deal.
Add 60 Minutes to that. They acquiesced and gave him some money, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I
I
mean-
still can't believe that. But
A big part of my night was watching the Colbert show that I recorded the night before, and now soon it will no longer be. But I don't think he's out. He may be down, but he's not out. In fact, I think he'll come back like the phoenix and be better than ever.
yeah, I believe that too. Yeah.
So the Epstein thing, the reason why I think the Epstein issue is important is because it appears to be the first real crack in the wall of the MAGA base. They are
It is
for the
interesting,
first
isn't it?
time they are pissed.
You know, the thing that they seem to want to jump on most is pedophiles. Hillary is a pedophile, leads a pedophile, and all these. If you want to say something really bad about the opposition person, they're a pedophile. So no, wait a minute, hold it. We have a pedophile.
And
We
it
found a
is
pedophile in the
awful.
woodpile.
It is awful. I mean, this horrible thing. You know, you don't do that to children.
Well, and as crazy and as Jerry Springerish as this whole thing has become, the actual act, the horrible act of the pedophilia has almost been kind of forgotten in the past
I know.
over all this other hoopla.
Of what it's all about, yeah.
I mean,
huge.
you think about the victims. There were scores of them. I think they estimated something like 1,000 girls that Epstein trafficked in his career.
Right.
You know, one thing I'll say for Trump, if he was there and if he was messing around with any of these girls, he had the good sense not to take a picture of them, like the prince or whatever the hell he is from England.
That's not true. He's got his arm around.
About Epstein, but not around the teenagers.
No, there's some pictures.
He's got those.
Oh, are there?
Yeah.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
those.
Yep.
The videos are going to be the thing that tell the story
I
here.
think so too. Yeah, I mean that they obviously had a relationship. Trump and Epstein were like best friends, according to really both of them.
Well, yeah,
Each of them individually.
there's-
For what it's worth, interesting thing, we have now said his name twice. You said it once, you said it once. And in the first 8 minutes of the show, we used he, and everybody knew.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
is that like when a telepreacher refers to him?
well, perhaps.
Interesting. All
We
I'm
have
saying,
to answer to him.
I was listening very closely, and I heard a whole bunch of he's from all of us, and nobody had said his name until you said it for the first time, Ray,
Isn't that
and then
funny?
you backed him up. And it was funny because it was 8 minutes into the show,
Yeah.
and first time you hear his name.
Is that a good thing that I was first? Is that?
No,
It's not
Ray.
a bad thing.
Oh, okay. I just don't want to damage my reputation as a famous radio personality by doing
Oh, that'll never.
bad things on the radio.
So I noticed that they showed clips of some of the far right wing hosts, including Nick Fuentes, who does a
Awful
podcast.
person, but yes.
Yes, right.
Right.
But they are like screaming into their microphones and into the camera about how awful Trump is because he is covering up this whole deep state thing, which is, what the MAGA base believed and also believes, that there's this deep state that is all about taking advantage of children, pedophilia, all of
Exactly,
the
yeah.
right.
The worst boogeyman.
And it seems like, what Trump got elected on, large part to his base was that he was going to unmask this deep state. He was going to go after them. He was going to hold them accountable. Of course, he assumed or inferred that they were all Democrats. Duh.
Yeah.
But that was why that was certainly a large part of the vote for him. And now, for him to just say, oh no, there's nothing to see here, let's move on. They can't, his base is not doing well with that.
I think it's going to come out that he had invested in that pizza parlor too.
He was hoping to build the basement.
There we go. Yes. No, it's just awful. And there was a story about the young woman who just committed suicide, like back in April. She was trafficked basically, and she was 16 at the time.
By Epstein?
By Epstein, yeah, and Maxwell. And, she couldn't finally, she was 41, so she lived a lot of years with that horrible memory.
Why hasn't anybody offered Maxwell a pardon in exchange for? Or is there something there I don't know about?
So I think I've heard some discussion about it, and I think that she's holding out for that pardon, but it has to get to a certain point where they are, like, he's not going to offer her a pardon right now because that is just way too much, okay? She's in prison 20 years, blah, blah, blah. And she has the names. She has the names. So if he pardons her, it's got to be like as a last
Well,
result.
it wouldn't be. I wouldn't think that Trump would pardon her. Why would he do that? I'm thinking that
Who's going to pardon her?
the prosecution offer her a deal.
Nobody. No, she's serving time. She's not going to get a deal. She obviously is appealing it, but
I think that she could jump up and say, well, guys, I have some stuff I want to tell you if.
Yeah, and I think that she has intimated that is something that she is prepared to do.
Congress could have her testify and pardon her, create that pardon base.
They could.
They did it with Ollie North.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
This wasn't a sad enough morning, and now you have to bring him up.
I know.
Well,
I know.
And there's so much unknown. By the way, if you all out there want to text in for a question or comment, please at 541-661-4098. And as far as the unknown still, is there really, there isn't any, I don't think, concrete evidence yet to put him with Epstein, but not at the island, the infamous island. Now, that's as far as I know.
But we do have Trump on the video saying he's a really good guy. I really like hanging out with him. He's a lot of fun.
All of that.
And he shares the love of beautiful women, except they're on the
Yeah.
On the young
one of the
side.
things I saw in my research this morning, unfortunately, as I was going out the door, I don't know where it came from, but supposedly, according to this little blip that I saw, Epstein actually introduced Melania to Trump, and the first time they ever slept together was on his plane.
Yeah, I had heard that or read that story at one point as well.
Should I say some kind of something so I don't get sued for me saying that?
No, you can say that you read it.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I saw a picture, and it's all over the internet, of Trump with his arm around Melania and Epstein with his arm around Maxwell. They're right there together. So, it's...
I spend a lot more time on the internet looking at Model Ts than I do Trump and Melania.
I don't blame you.
and so far, there was no Model T involved in this scandal. We're clear.
And again, we're kind of talking so far about, and believe me, I'm not trying to defend this horrible man, but a lot of this stuff, would you call it circumstantial evidence up to this point, as far as putting him at the island, being a pedophile that him and his MAGA crowd likes to pin on everybody else?
I don't think there's any concrete proof that he was at the island. And again, I think that would be in the file that they won't release, like not not the stuff that went to the grand jury, because that has nothing
Right.
to do with it, right? So, I mean, opening up that file is
all
like
that's doing
ridiculous.
is saying, see, I'm releasing.
Yeah, which is just
nothing.
nonsense. Yeah. So no, I mean, to date, I haven't seen anything that definitively proves he was at the island. But come on,
Well, again,
the
that's-
guy had like some kind of a pageant on the. There was a ferry in New York City, and they were out on the water, and there was a pageant for young Miss whatever's in the basement of the boat or under the boat, and he brags about how he can go into the dressing rooms while they're all naked because he's
That's
the
definite old knowledge there.
That was Teenage Miss America or something.
Right.
something like that. It
And
wasn't
he
exactly
owned
that.
he owned that pageant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why he could
do
walk in and
whatever he
be
wanted.
on the Howard Stern show, which would disqualify him from being president in itself. But,
Yes.
And
Yep.
brag about how all these beautiful women with no clothes on.
Yep. So, I mean, it's not, if he didn't go to the island, he's still dirty.
We knew that before.
Yeah.
From what I've read, clearly it's on Facebook predominantly, but from what I've read, some of the court documents talk about underage ladies that were met and trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not just the island.
Right.
And the island, I've also read, had no airstrip. So it's to say on his plane, on Epstein's plane, is a bit of a misnomer. I'm not sure.
I wonder how they got there.
Well, but what was happening at the island was the yachts would visit and the helicopters would fly in.
Of course.
So that was where.
Yeah, because you're
how
talking about
got-
people with unlimited money, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's appalling. It's just appalling, and I think that the people in his base who are very vocal about grooming children and I mean they were on the bandwagon about our library here in Brookings about because we had a couple of books that were on a shelf where younger readers could get at them or something.
Incidentally, those books were taken out of the Air Force Academy library. What was it? Over 200 books or something were taken out because they expressed bad things or something, except Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf stayed.
Oh yeah, because that's good stuff.
The Jackie Robinson story was one of them.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't have that.
The Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, and talking about my people, I was in the Air Force many, many decades ago, is pretty well known for being very white Christian evangelical with all the cadets.
So we wanted to make sure we didn't get any of them poisoned with risque books.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just facts.
Pretty pretty sad, though, I think. That
So
By
Trump
the way,
had-
before I forget, if you want to come on this show, or I don't think we have too many MAGA people listening, but if you know one, and you say, oh, he would like to talk to those people, have him get in touch with us.
he or she.
Yeah, he or she, and we would love to have somebody on to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
And right now it's 541-661-4098. But if you have somebody that you think might want to be on the show, go to kciw.org and click the proper things there that will put you into
You bet.
to wanting to be on it. And we have, what do we have? About 3 shows like this. So you can come on one of them. 2.
So I read that Trump has initially instructed Bondi to only release credible information, but now he's kind of broadened it a little bit. But it's only the documents that went to the grand jury. So, there's not anything there. That's not what the base is asking for. That's not what they're asking for. And it's not what he promised them. I mean, in his campaign promises, he was very vocal about we're going to get to the bottom of this, you know, blah, 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 blah. And now
Did you
there's,
find that during the campaign he may have lied?
oh dear, no,
Boy, you are a cynic.
I know. I know. But given that his base, this is one of their issues, is protecting children.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't see how this cannot be a huge impact, because there's only two options. He either lied then or he's lying now. He either lied when he said, oh, there's all this, you know, deep state and people and, you know, we got to get those files, or he's lying now when he says, yeah, there's nothing there.
But you have to protect the cult leader.
Mm-hmm.
Part of a cult is that he can do no wrong and everybody follows the cult.
I heard someone last night, I think, on a talk show, and he said it's a mistake to call them a cult. They may, in fact, have that kind of tendency, but he said, because he had been in that, he said, speaking as somebody who was in on the inside, he said, it's much more of a family. It's much more of not a cult, but they're neighbors, they're friends, they're family. Nobody else understands them.
It's be like the Manson
connection. People? Well, I mean, that taking it to an extreme, but it's that kind of thing. You know how you feel when you're around people who see the world the way you do. You feel at home. You feel validated.
Yeah, I can understand all that, but when it gets to the point where the leader or the person we're all looking up can do no wrong, I think that makes it a cult.
Well, I'm not saying
more than a family.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that that's not the way they see themselves.
Oh, of course not. No,
sure.
So if when you're talking to them, you call them a cult, you're not going to get any. No, there won't be any buy-in.
That'll
okay,
get those diesel pickups revving.
Yeah, but you could, if maybe you talk about the family aspect of it, or how it feels to be part of something bigger than yourself, which is the way they see it. I'm always looking for the way to get in to have a conversation.
I don't think there's a way to get in a conversation with the people that are dug in that deep. That's just my opinion. I see it's even kind of blending over nowadays into Democrat, Republicans absolutely hating each other. There's a few out there that can get along, but not many. And I really do view the I'll call it deep state MAGA, as a cult. Mm-hmm. I really do. I don't know percentages, but boy, there's some Congress people, senators that will think of them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those kinds of people, Matt Gaetz.
I'm not sure they actually believe that. I think that they know that it's politically expedient.
I would agree with that. Okay, yeah.
Hasn't Marjorie dropped away from cult from Trump a little bit with this? Isn't she kind of on the bandwagon against him as well?
She was
Partly,
very annoyed about
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're going to come back to him, though, soon, no matter.
Yeah, they won't be
Whatever.
gone long. He'll come up with some nonsense to replace what they want.
Well, and
say that's it.
Yeah, and
So it all depends then on people like Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes and Steve
Charlie
Bannon.
Kirk.
Are they going to keep saying, but you promised us? Your base is pissed off. You promised. If they keep saying that, they've got an audience.
You kind of forgot Tucker Carlson and
What's his name?
ex-boy.
Ex-boy. Oh,
Elon.
Musk.
Oh, well.
Wasn't there some breaking news about Elon Musk? Didn't you say something, Michael?
I
right
read
before?
something just before we went on the air that he's threatening to release what apparently he's called to be released, and they aren't releasing.
The Epstein files.
The Epstein files, suggesting that he has them and is ready to drop them.
Well, certainly he has them.
We
All of his Doge boys have been in there gathering as much stuff as they possibly can ever since they went in.
And all I would say, remember what the classic Washington gaffe is: telling the truth. Forever, the worst thing that you can do in Washington is utter a truth that everybody has agreed should never be uttered, such as when Hillary was trying to get health care through in the early Clinton era, because she had been put in charge of helping us shepherd in health care, what eventually became Obamacare, what was at every point the Republicans' solution to health care in Massachusetts with Romney, became Obamacare. And Hillary, when she hit problems with getting that done, pointed out the vast right-wing conspiracy, which involved the Federalists and the Republicans and Chuck Grassley and all them, all the same people that are haunting still today. And that was in the early 1990s, and this is 2025. It's the same human beings doing the same nonsense. And Trump is new to the thing, but the thing has been going on for much longer than Trump.
I read somewhere where it's basically started with Reagan. That's when it started, like the plan started to be formulated.
Well,
That's when I understand it to be.
And I always felt the big downer for Reagan, for me anyway, was he was the one that really embraced Jerry Falwell and the moral majority and started to get in the white Christian nationalists.
And that whole thing is tied to the far right, because that's the way that you control people. I mean, it's, obviously.
He goes to Bob Jones University and gives a talk to the students. And for some reason or other, he mentions the 2 Corinthians and just a lot of nonsense that made it very obvious he knew nothing at all about the Bible. I probably know more about the Bible than he did. And the next day, Bob Jones University endorses him.
What a shock.
Again, surprise, like Gomer says, surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah,
It
no
just
kidding.
goes on. Michael, you said something about truth, and I'm sure this will irritate some people, but I don't remember who it was. Was it Hillary or Obama? Somebody said the right wing like to embrace their Bibles and their guns.
Right.
I agreed with that. Not all, but I thought that was a truthful statement, and that just got whoever said it in a lot of trouble. And I don't remember who it was now.
I think it was Obama.
Yeah,
okay.
it was.
But we all know it's true.
Something like clinging
I
to their
told-
Bibles and their guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting little just side thing that I want to mention. Ever since the election in November, I have had a lot of trouble believing that Donald Trump actually won. Now, I understand that, conspiracy theorists and election deniers, I get it. I think the right poisoned that well, by the way, in 2020. I think that there is growing and credible evidence that there was voter manipulation in 2024, and all you have to do is look at the swing states and look at the way the analysis of the votes is looking, and it's pretty clear. So I'm just saying, if you think there might have been a chance that actually we elected Kamala, you ought to check it out.
I have enough things to boggle my brain with.
I know,
and
but
true
think,
or not.
think if she actually
In the
won.
year 2000, the Supreme Court decided that we had to stop counting votes in Florida.
Right.
And by a decision of 5-4, we elected GWB.
That's right.
And it was the perfect storm, and we said nothing about it. Have we had a fair election since then?
No. Nope.
During that time when we were counting votes and the big thing about this election not being settled, some of the news commentators were saying that, in some countries there would be tanks in the streets and there would be all sorts of things. When it was all said and done, I would have preferred the tanks in the streets. This was legal tanks in the streets. To have the Supreme Court make the
Well,
decision.
we've lost the Supreme Court. I mean, that much is evident. We've completely
but
lost
it wasn't that bad at that time. I mean,
Well,
And
or
yet,
it was,
or it was, and we just didn't see
or
it.
it was, and we just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
What you had was, go.
We didn't care. We didn't.
Michael's
I
giving
mean,
up.
we still thought that the Supreme Court couldn't possibly sell us out. Back in whenever that was, 2000. Can't remember what year it was.
2000.
Yes.
No.
So
16, wasn't it?
No, we're
2000.
talking about the Al Gore, G.W. Bush.
Right. I'm
2000.
sorry. Go ahead.
I know. It's been a long time. But I don't think we thought at that point that the Supreme Court could possibly sell us out. We so believed in the rule of law at that point.
But now we believe that if they don't sell us out, what happened? Why?
Well, we know that they're selling us out.
That's what I mean. And
Yeah, because we're watching it.
Yeah.
We watch it every day. And amazing that the three liberal women on the court, I mean, they're going out on a limb saying, you guys are not only wrong, but criminal.
Yes.
You're going against the Constitution.
Yeah.
Many, many, many educated and informed people are saying we are losing our democracy rapidly.
Yep.
I believe that.
I do too.
Well, we're halfway through. We have not got any either angry text or text telling they love what we're talking about, but you can text in at 541-661-4098, and you are listening to KCIW LP 100.7 here in beautiful Brookings. So I want to get that out.
Thank you.
that was
Anybody.
Thank you. So, also, just to touch on what happened with Jeffrey Epstein, is that it's a reported suicide in his cell in 2019. And we've just learned within the last week that there's video of his cell, and it's actually missing 3 minutes right at the time when he theoretically died.
No, nobody wants to see that. That was taken out for to make it a little more acceptable to watch. We don't want to watch somebody hang.
No. It was on the outside. It wasn't the inside of the cell. It was the outside of the cell. But you would have been able to see somebody going in.
Oh, maybe we don't want to see that either.
No, I guess.
You know how in the news they give you a warning that
Graphic.
graphic. Some people may.
But it certainly surely helped a lot of people that he died.
And
Right,
he was
because
taken off suicide watch, right?
I don't actually know. Was
yeah.
he?
Yeah.
From what I understand, there's a
why
whole
would we
list
wanna-
of things that went on, the taken off suicide watch, shift change issues, things that were problematic that night.
And he had not yet gone to court, right? He was in his cell awaiting the trial, right? Isn't that right?
I think so. Yeah. He wasn't convicted.
He
or
wasn't
court.
convicted yet.
Right.
But I think he probably realized he was in a whole heap of trouble.
I know, but he had a whole heap of information.
Yeah.
So who are we kind of depending on right now? I wanted to bring this all into a conclusion. Is it Ghislaine Maxwell? Is that,
I'm counting on Candace.
well,
Good luck. Don't be counting on me.
Bernie is still out there. Bernie is going to save us.
okay. Well, no.
As will
Bernie and
Stephen
AOC.
Colbert when he's no longer on that show.
Okay. Yeah. But again, I'm talking about, is she the one out there right now that could maybe blow this whole
Well,
thing?
she certainly could.
I never hear her name mentioned in this whole thing.
Well, it's
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Right.
No, she certainly could. I mean, she's the one that's got the information. She was there for all of it.
Right.
And I guess we'll see. I mean, she's started to make a little bit of noise. Her attorney said
Okay.
something. I mean, her case is evidently pending appeal. So they're not done, right, with all of the legal stuff.
Yeah, right.
And that's certainly one good reason why the grand jury will not release those files, because she has appealed and she could appeal again, and you don't mess with the grand jury files if the case is still active, and it is when it's on appeal. So, I feel pretty sure Trump will end up pardoning her rather than have her sing like a canary.
Oh, well, if he
Right?
could do it.
Well, that would be the end of him. I mean, that would be definitely be admitting something if he pardoned.
Would
And
it
is
though?
she-
Because he said about Ghislaine Maxwell, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was like, oh, I really like her and I have nothing against her, and I wish her well.
Yeah,
Right.
I do
That was
remember that.
early on, I think.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like he wishes her well. She was trafficking children.
Right.
I
So-
mean, wow.
I wonder if but it is a big mess. And again, I always use the Jerry Springer analogy because it seems like it's that way. That this upcoming, what's the election? Oh, what do you call it?
Midterms?
Thank you. The midterms. I wonder if that's going to be a big turning point to show that, okay, the public, I'll say the public in general, has finally had enough of this craziness. And no, that's not MAGA, but and I do believe we will need, and we being, I guess, the Democrats, progressives, or sane people,
And sane Republicans.
And sane-
There
that's right,
are
that's
sane
right.
Republicans.
that we will need a huge victory to kind of start toning this crazy stuff down.
So the problem with that, something I just read, is that Trump has already been making overtures to get into the voting machines. At least in Ohio, he is making overtures to get into those machines. And once he gets into those machines, fair elections cannot be guaranteed. I mean,
How is
right
he-
now they can't be guaranteed.
How
but
is he making overtures?
he instructed the DOJ, I think. I would have to find the reference, but it's real and it's happening.
Maybe we need to go back to where maybe, I don't think we were ever there, but in some places you line up and you vote and then you get a stamp on you.
Well,
They
they're
dye your
saying that
thumb purple or something.
they're saying that we should go back to paper ballots.
Wow.
That is exactly. I mean, Oregon does paper ballots. We do paper ballots, and we
Right.
mail them in. There should be paper ballots because the point is, do the paper ballots match up against the digital?
Right.
Do they or do they not? If they do not, there is election interference.
And how about the voting by mail? Does that
That's
continue?
fine.
Well,
It's
not
still-
fine to a lot of people.
I know.
I've used it and I'm not in Oregon, I'm in California, but still, we've had vote by mail.
Right.
And I see a lot of them are totally against that.
Yeah, but I don't see that.
They're against anything that brings out the vote.
Well, true.
Yeah, if you have a lot of vote,
Mm-hmm.
then
Right.
it seems like the Republicans do less.
And,
We- we-
they make it
things-
impossible on voting day, right? If you have to actually stand in those lines.
Yeah, can you
Not
imagine
only
in
do you have
Florida
to
standing in line for
in
3
that
hours.
kind of heat and nobody's allowed to give you water. Holy moly.
Heat or freezing. I mean, I know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's completely wrong. Yeah, it's very interesting to me. Michael Cohen, who has flipped basically and is singing loudly about all the stuff that he knows from the inside. He said about the MAGA people, they want a reckoning. They wanted the names, the arrests, the catharsis. Instead, they got a shrug and a Truth Social post calling them disloyal fools.
Stupid.
So now the movement is eating itself. And, really, you don't call your base stupid fools. I mean,
Well, we're
you
talking about
obviously
somebody
do,
though.
but,
Talking about somebody who doesn't engage his brain prior to putting his mouth
Exactly.
into it. Is that?
No,
Can't-
that doesn't engage his brain, or there's nothing, there's no filter, out it comes. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a problem. You know, they weren't betrayed by Trump, but he stopped telling them what they wanted to hear.
By the way, we did get a text. It's a little difficult for me to decipher this, but I think I can get through it.
Okay.
It's a YouTube reference, youtube.com/shorts. It says, Trump admits that the election was rigged.
Yeah, well, of
Take
course.
that as
Well,
it may.
I
There
mean,
it is.
you do remember him saying at one point that Musk knew everything about computers, and thanks to him, we won the election.
And if we get this done, we'll never have to worry
You'll
about it
never
again.
have
Not
to
ever
vote again. And that was to the Christian something or other group that he was in front of. You'll never have to vote again. Never. Like, wow. And of course, see, that's the thing, right? If he is gaining access to the voting machinery, which has already been compromised, if you look at what what Elon Musk did before the election, if you look at some of the ties and where those machines, they had updates done without any oversight on the machines that basically left them vulnerable to a hack. If we don't fix this before 2026, we may never have another election.
The simple amount of money put behind manipulative propaganda to a very well-paid media system has left us completely vulnerable.
Completely.
Because we don't know what the truth is anymore.
Nope.
And nobody will for a while yet.
Yep.
And that's the scary part.
I mean, ABC, NBC, and CBS, nobody trusts them anymore. Nobody trusts them. Legacy media? No, we don't trust them.
We've lived completely beyond what we grew up with as news reality.
Yep.
And
Walter Cronkite, right?
it was all taken down by hedge funds. Mm-hmm. That's what we got to realize. The hedge funds reached in and bought up every newspaper with local news, all the local TV stations that were saying things they didn't like, bought them all and took them apart.
Yep.
Much like Elon and his Doge boys are taking apart the government now.
Yep.
So the patterns and practices are old. The current people being targeted is the new ones on the list. Remember when Acorn was registering people to vote, and all of a sudden Democrats were voting with Republicans to shut down Acorn?
Yeah.
This was back
Acorn
in
was
the
a really
90s.
bad guy. I remember.
Back in the
Yeah.
90s. Yeah. Clarence Thomas, at the as we approached the 2000 election, was making noise about retiring so that Clinton could replace him on the Supreme Court. And that drew Leonard Leo and got him Harlan Crow.
Damn.
This was advertised in public, but
Yeah.
we couldn't see it coming
No. No.
because we were blinded and memory hold, and nobody understands what's going on today. That's a manipulation that's created that. This is not the news is we've been that manipulated that we just need a complete and total reset moment somehow.
Yeah. And I have no idea how that's
Well, it could be what's going on right now, but it certainly
doesn't look good.
could go any number of ways.
absolutely
Exactly right. And we're currently in the middle of the sixth major extinction. People and animal species are dying off like they did in the run-up to 26 million years ago when the dinosaurs died. We're in the middle of one of those realities today. What if all the chaos that we're existing in our media ecosphere is to hide the fact that the planet is screaming for help? And meanwhile, there are some good stories happening too. 30 kids just kayaked the entire length of the Klamath River from the headwaters down to Requa in Klamath and the estuary that where the Klamath River meets the ocean, and did so on a continuous kayak trip because they could for the first time in 100 years.
Yeah.
Because of the dam removal.
Yes,
Yeah, because of the
exactly.
dam removals,
Exactly.
and that's 30 Yaruk and Yurok and Hoopa and Modoc, and
They finally got
finally
Yeah.
made the trip.
Yeah.
So there are. It's not like everything is bad. There are some good stories happening on this planet, but boy howdy, we need to be terrorized with the ugly, don't we? Every day by a well-paid press who is functionally paid to traumatize Americans.
Yeah, and it's rough, I think.
Well, and again, as ugly and horrible as this whole Epstein thing is, look at what I thought the world news, whether it's Gaza, Ukraine, the destruction of, I mean, that was a good environmental story, I suppose, with the kids kayaking, but there's a lot of environmental and climate change damage.
Well, Iceland
But
is
we're-
melting.
Well, and we're forgetting that right now. No, not fully forgetting. I don't hear much news about it. And what news I do hear, I just heard that there was another Israeli strike that killed,
Yep.
Lord knows how, 40, 50, I don't know, people. It goes on and on while we sit here and talk about the Epstein
But
files.
I think we have to keep talking about it. I think we cannot, because that's what we didn't do 20 years ago.
About
30
what
years
now? About the Epstein files? Or
Whatever, all
Everything.
of it,
Well,
all
right.
of it, all of
I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
because it's all part and parcel of the big picture. We've been duped. The dumbing down of our country has been going on for some time, and people are proud of the fact that they're ignorant. They're proud of it. They don't want to be smart. They think that, smart people are like elitists or something.
Yeah.
That
Being smart is almost a pejorative with some of
yes,
these
it
people.
is a pejorative.
And along that line, back to the big, horrible, ugly bill. Part of that, we've talked about Project 2025 in the past here. Well, that's coming to fruition. A lot of that stuff.
absolutely.
And part of that is taking away money from public education and putting it into almost religious schools or rich people's kids. It's a simple way to say it, but they're taken away from public education.
Yeah.
They don't like public education.
They want to do away with the Department of Education so that each
And there's
state can
Yep.
come up with their own stuff.
Yep.
So when you go to school in Georgia, you'd learn about how the Dickies were happy. They were singing in the fields and they were learning useful
Valuable skills.
valuable skills that they could
right.
use
Right.
when they weren't slaves.
Yeah, it is furthering the dumbing down of our country, furthering it.
There's a fun little metaphor on Facebook these days. You can't talk butterfly language with caterpillar people.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And there's nothing wrong with being a caterpillar. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, it's all
is-
part and parcel
right?
of the system.
It is the stage before becoming a butterfly, so it's perfectly fine. But don't think that you're a freaking butterfly if you're a caterpillar. Just don't have that misperception of what you are.
Just wait it out. Go into the cocoon. It's all going to be fine.
Yeah.
or get a little bit smarter. I watch Stephanie Rule a lot on MSNBC.
She's good,
She is good.
I believe.
And I like the way she says, we're going to get smarter. And to get smarter, I've invited this panel. And inevitably, they do make me smarter. I mean, I listen to what they know stuff I've never even heard of, economic stuff. It's like amazing.
Well, he sued ABC and he sued CBS. He's talked a lot about NBC and MSNBC, but he hasn't sued them yet. And they are the Apprentice Network. They gave him his gig.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
But he has defunded or at least taken the government funds away from NPR. Public
And
radio and television.
interestingly, aren't the Republicans trying to claw back with this rescission
Really?
stuff? They're trying to claw back some of the NPR money and some of maybe the Medicaid money.
That I haven't heard. And
Maybe for NPR, they could keep, or public television,
Public
radio,
broadcast.
keep it going with their approval of the shows that are not so
Oh, my.
left-wing oriented.
Reminds me of
I
City
have
Council
to
and
really admire the people who watch the PBS NewsHour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. I'm sorry. I'm so used to the theatrics
you want
and the
the
entertainment.
flash and the substance.
Not Fox News, but I mean, at least like the networks have a little bit of upbeat. It's not all monotone.
Oh, I don't know. I still prefer the PBS NewsHour myself.
Yeah, I would too if I had the patience.
Well, I think that once upon a time, like with Walter Cronkite and people like that, we felt like we could trust that news reporter because he was serious. He spoke with serious tones and gave the news the weight that it required. And it wasn't all flash and, I don't have much tolerance for flash in the news.
I don't think like NBC or ABC or Flash is just presented with a little bit more of an idea of not boring people to death. And I have always watched NPR or PBS News. When I lived in Alaska, that was about the only thing we had, and I loved every bit of it. What was the two guys that had
McNeil Lair.
McNeil Lair. I said,
Yep.
"Wow, this is
Yep.
great. These guys are," and they don't have an axe to grind. They don't have corporate sponsors that they have to appeal to.
Yeah.
Judy did fine for years after them, too.
Yeah.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see because the Musk news is very interesting to me that he is basically threatening to release the files unless DJT hurries up and does it. So I guess we'll see what happens over the next few days.
Which is not going to happen. So what does happen, it's going to be somebody like an Elon releasing this stuff.
Why don't you think Elon will do it?
No, I think Elon might.
Okay.
Trump is not going to do it.
No.
He makes these
Yeah.
pronouncements.
I mean,
he
suing
never
Rupert
intends.
Murdoch.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. Yeah, talk about Clash of the Titans.
Hilarious.
I think they're both sitting around
Superman
smoking a
versus
cigar and
Batman.
enjoying this story
I
together.
think so. I think so too. Because I don't believe it for a second. I mean, come on, people. So yeah, I mean, I would say let's pay attention to the news. I remember seeing whose show was it? Lawrence O'Donnell, I think, on Friday, maybe Thursday, and he said, it's going to change. Give it 24 hours, and it's going to change, and we're going to have another big story by Monday, and we will. That is exactly what happens.
Big.
Did he say whether that would be a good big story?
Oh, it's not ever.
I was going to say
good.
big and worse. Good heavens. You know, Candace, real quick, you did mention Walter Cronkite, and of course, as a kid, I remember the Huntley-Brinkley report.
Absolutely.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I can think of, and you mentioned, I think Stephanie Rule is pretty watchable and smart, and I can trust her.
Yep.
One of my favorites is Christiane Amanpour. And she's on both PBS,
PBS.
and CNN. But there are some out there. But
And I think Lawrence O'Donnell is amazing. I just
yeah.
think he's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think Rachel Maddow is amazing. I would watch her all day long.
okay.
She presents herself very well.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, she's very smart.
Yep.
I've been following her since she was on Air America. Remember Air America? That was a radio,
I do, boy.
a liberal radio talk show.
Didn't last too long, though, did it?
No, it
I
didn't.
was bummed that went down. What was it? Yeah, there was a few others. I can't come. Ed, somebody, I can't think.
And
Air America?
RFK Jr. had a show.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this was before he got into his
that's right.
anti-windmill. And I think what started, the first bad thing I heard about him is he didn't want offshore windmills put in front of his house, ruining the viewers.
Of course
and
not.
nonsense.
I mean, who does, right?
I think it gives you something to look at. It's not just the waves going. Blah, blah, blah.
I think at a certain point you say, perhaps my personal interests are not as important as the interests of the planet.
Well, and
What a concept.
yeah, and the planet's interests right now are being put aside, at least in this administration.
Oh, they've been being put aside for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the dollar bill is the bottom line.
Right.
And as long as it is, our world is not safe and it's not going to continue in a good way.
No, our backs are against the wall right now in that
Yeah, they are.
aspect. We are running out of time. We got about a little over 3 minutes left. If anybody has any earth-shaking, any more breaking news, Michael, I don't know.
Well, I could just remind you again, if you are disagreeing with us or you know
Oh, please, yeah.
a MAGA friend who would love to come on the radio and talk,
Come on down.
yes.
Come on.
I'm trying to spit out the website here.
Okay.
It's kciw.org, and then click to whatever the
Yeah.
appropriate looking things like are. Or, for that matter, if you are a MAGA and you want to do a show, there's a form to fill out to do a show.
You bet. We're always looking for local people to do a show.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Well, here's my breaking news. The news is broken.
I know. I know. And
What are you gonna do?
really all we've got that has any chance at all is local news.
What we've got is what's been deemed as too small to worry about by the hedge funds,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So there we go.
So pay attention to your local radio station.
It's
community
like I
radio
said,
station.
I'm counting on Candace.
Oh, boy, we're in trouble now.
And I'll put
thank
out
you,
a little
Michael.
plug for local papers. I know I get a few delivered to me from different areas, and I still enjoy reading the local papers.
Yep.
I know they're on their way out. That won't be too
Yeah,
long.
they're not as good as I'm not sure they ever were really good, but they certainly had more news 20 years ago when I
Yeah.
first moved here.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Well, I want to thank Candace. Candace came at kind of the last minute to help us out today.
Oh, it's so fun.
Well, it is.
You know,
It
it
is.
just is.
And
And you
that's
guys are my bros, you know.
as long as helping us out. If you have an idea for a show or you want to be on a show other than politics, I mean, we could talk about the salmon season, in fact, if you wanted to, or anything.
I'm
else.
going to enjoy some local caught salmon right after this program.
Are you really?
Lucky you.
You have a friend that
A big fish that Joey caught. Anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Wow.
Right.
So jealous.
Thanks everybody for listening. KCIWLP 100.7 FM in beautiful Brookings, Oregon.